Imagine this. It's Wednesday evening, not Friday, not the weekend, just the middle of the week, the part where motivation quietly dies. It's 6:47 p.m. You're sitting in your office chair, staring at a blank wall, pretending to finish an email you've already rewritten 3 times. Your computer is still open, your phone is face down, your brain feels like it's running on 5% battery. You technically clocked out 15 minutes ago, but you're still there, because leaving feels harder than staying. You finally stand up, you grab your bag, you walk to the parking garage or the subway platform or the bus stop. Everything feels slow, heavy, like gravity has been turned up. On the way home, you promise yourself you'll cook. You tell yourself you'll be responsible. You'll eat what you bought on Sunday. You'll save money this week. 30 minutes later, you're scrolling through food delivery apps. Not because you're lazy, because you're empty. You order something overpriced, something that looks healthy in the photo, something that costs $41 after taxes and fees. You press place order. Instant relief. You get home, you change into old clothes, you sit down. You stare at your phone while you wait. When the food arrives, you eat it without thinking. You barely taste it. Then you open a streaming app. You scroll for 10 minutes. You settle on something you don't really care about. You just need noise. You need your thoughts to stop. And at some point, you think, at least I have a good job. At least I make decent money. At least this is worth it. But what if it isn't? What if when you actually ran the numbers, your good job was quietly draining your life at a discount? What if your salary is lying to you? What if your paycheck is only showing you half the story? My name is Shawn, and I spend an unhealthy amount of time thinking about the invisible math that controls modern life. The equations nobody teaches, the formulas that decide whether you're building freedom or just spinning faster on a treadmill. If you've ever felt like you work nonstop but never get ahead, if you've ever wondered why your savings barely grow, if you've ever asked yourself where your money goes, this is for you. Because today, we're not talking about stocks. We're not talking about crypto. We're not talking about side hustles. We're talking about the biggest accounting mistake most people make, judging their life by gross income. We're going to calculate your real hourly wage, and once you see it, you won't be able to ignore it. From the day we graduate, we're given one main number, annual salary. That's it. That's the scoreboard. Make $60,000? Good. Make $80,000? Better. Make $100,000? You've made it. Everything revolves around that number. So let's say you earn $72,000 a year. Sounds solid. Sounds stable. Sounds respectable. That's about $35 an hour, on paper. You probably feel proud of that. Your family thinks you're doing well. Your friends assume you're comfortable. You assume you're comfortable. But revenue without expenses is meaningless. Any business owner knows this. If a company earns $1 million but spends $990,000 to survive, it's fragile. One bad month destroys it. Yet when it comes to our own labor, we ignore expenses completely. We never ask what it costs. So, let's do an audit. We'll call our example worker Daniel. Daniel earns $72,000. First stop, taxes. Federal, state, payroll. Before Daniel touches his money, it drops. That $35 an hour becomes maybe $27. That's automatic. No negotiation. But now come the hidden deductions, the ones nobody puts on a pay stub. First, transportation. Daniel drives 40 minutes each way. Gas, oil changes, repairs, insurance, parking, tires, registration. If he didn't have this job, he wouldn't need this setup. But he does, so he pays. Maybe $4,500 a year. Maybe more. If he takes public transit, it's not free either. Monthly passes, ride shares when he's late, emergency Ubers. It adds up. Next, our appearance. Daniel works in an environment where looking professional matters, which means he owns clothes he'd never choose otherwise. Dress shoes, button-downs, jackets, belts, haircuts, grooming, dry cleaning, skincare. This isn't vanity, it's compliance. It's the cost of being taken seriously. Then comes convenience. Because Daniel is gone all day, he buys time. Pre-made lunches, office snacks, energy drinks, takeout, coffee, meal kits he forgets to cancel, fast food when he's too tired to cook. None of this is accidental. It's fatigue spending. And then are the services. Cleaning, laundry, pet care, grocery delivery, subscription boxes. Things that replace time he doesn't have because work took it. Finally, there's recovery spending, the most expensive category. The weekend trips, The bar tabs, the impulse purchases, the I deserve this moments, the therapy, the hobbies he barely has energy for. This isn't luxury, it's emotional repair. It's paying to feel normal again. When you total it up, Daniel isn't living on $72,000. He might be living on $40,000, if he's disciplined, if he's lucky. And we're still not done, because money is only half the formula. Time is the other half, and time is where the real scam lives. HR says Daniel works 40 hours. That's fiction. Daniel wakes up, unpaid. He gets ready, unpaid. He checks messages, unpaid. He commutes, unpaid. He stays mentally alert during lunch, unpaid. He stays late sometimes, unpaid. He thinks about work at home, unpaid. He worries in bed, unpaid. He scrolls emails on Sunday, unpaid. All of that belongs to the job. None of it is paid. When you count it honestly, Daniel isn't working 40 hours. He's donating 58, sometimes 62, sometimes more. So let's do the real math. $40,000 divided by 3,000 hours. That's about $13 an hour. Before stress, before burnout, before health costs, before missed memories. That good job is paying less than many retail positions, but with triple the pressure. This is the modern labor trap. High output, low margin, permanent exhaustion. You are a business operating at a loss, and nobody told you. Now, I know how this sounds. You're probably thinking, awesome, so I'm underpaid, tired, and trapped. Thanks for the motivation. That's not the point of this exercise. This isn't about making you feel hopeless. It's about giving you clarity. Because once you see the real numbers, you stop playing the wrong game. Most people think the goal is to make more money, get a raise, get promoted, switch companies, chase a bigger salary. But if your costs rise faster than your income, you're just running in place. Sometimes faster, sometimes more stressed, but still stuck. This idea isn't new. It comes from a book called Your Money or Your Life, and it introduces one simple concept. Every dollar has a time cost. Not the time it takes to earn on paper, the time it takes to earn in real life. After taxes, after expenses, after stress, after exhaustion. Let's say you calculate your real wage is $12 an hour. Not 35, not 27, 12. Now you walk into a store. You see a jacket for $180. Your old brain says, that's not terrible. Your new brain says, that's 15 hours of my life. 15 hours of meetings, 15 hours of commuting, 15 hours of pretending. Is that jacket worth 2 full workdays? Most of the time, no. This is how you break impulse spending, not with willpower, with translation. You convert money into life. Suddenly prices feel heavier, more real, more painful. That pain is good. It protects you. It also exposes promotions. Let's talk about the raise trap. Daniel gets offered a promotion, more responsibility, more visibility, more growth, and $9,000 more per year. Everyone congratulates him. He feels successful. But now, he stays later, he travels, he eats out constantly, he upgrades his wardrobe, he needs better tech, he's always on. His stress doubles, so do his expenses. At the end of the year, he's making more money, but keeping less and giving up more of his life. His real wage went down. He got promoted into a worse deal. This happens constantly. We chase bigger numbers, ignoring margins. There's another cost most people never calculate: opportunity cost. Every dollar you spend today is a dollar that can't work for you tomorrow. That $6 energy drink, that $9 lunch, that $12 subscription you forgot about. Invested for decades, it becomes thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands. You're not bad with money. You're bleeding slowly through tiny holes, and nobody taught you to look. The system depends on this. It depends on exhaustion, on distraction, on numbness. Because tired people don't calculate, they consume. So you finance phones, lease cars, upgrade apartments, buy status, because everyone else does. And now you need your job to pay for the lifestyle that helps you tolerate the job. It's a self-feeding loop. How do you break it? Not by quitting, not by disappearing, by optimizing. You raise your real wage without changing your salary. Start small. Can you work remotely 1 day a week? That saves gas, saves time, saves energy. That's a raise. Can you batch cook? That's profit. Can you walk or bike sometimes? Can you downgrade image expenses? Can you stop buying things to impress coworkers you don't even like? Every cost you cut is freedom. But the biggest change is psychological. You stop thinking like an employee. You start thinking like an owner. Your life is a business. Your time is inventory. Your energy is capital. Your goal is margin, not revenue. A business that makes $150,000 but spends $145,000 and runs 70-hour weeks is failing. It looks impressive. It's fragile. A business that makes $50,000, spends $20,000, and works 30 hours is powerful. It has resilience, options, control. One has money, the other has autonomy. Here's what I want you to do. This weekend, not on Friday, not when you're exhausted, on Sunday, when your brain works. Sit down with a notebook, no distractions. Calculate your net income, your commute cost, your work expenses, your convenience spending, your recovery spending, your real hours. Divide. Find your real wage. Write it somewhere visible, on your phone, in your wallet, on your desk. My life is worth $11.40 an hour. Let it haunt you. The next time you're about to buy something pointless, do the conversion. Is this worth 3 hours of meetings? Is this worth a morning commute? Is this worth a night of emails? Most of the time, it's not. That friction will save you more than any app. We're entering an era where time is the real currency. The wealthy buy it. Everyone else sells it cheap. Stop selling yours cheap. Audit your life. Cut vampire costs. Build distance between what you earn and what you spend. That distance is freedom. That gap is peace. That gap is choice. If this made you rethink your paycheck, send it to someone who looks burned out. We're all in this machine together, but we don't have to stay blind. We can calculate our way out. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.